You are listening to Let the Money Talk podcast, a podcast where our Phillip Capital's experts deconstruct world-class tactics, tools, and routines for managing your finances. I'm Rashawn, your host for Money Never Sleeps. Stay tuned for our experts' top tips.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rashawn Gidwani, the presenter for Pitch Media. Welcome to Let the Money Talk. Today, we're going to discuss risk management tips for your investing and daily life. To tell us more, we have a very special guest joining us, Mr. Ivan Nyo. Hi, Ivan. How are you?
Hi, Roshan. I'm great. Thanks for having me today. My name is Ivan. I'm a wealth manager here at Phillip Capital. Before I begin, my sharing is purely my personal opinion and should not be construed as professional financial consultation advice. So for today, I'd like to share some concepts that I found beneficial for myself, and I hope it can benefit our audience as well. And they are how different circumstances affect our emotions and how our emotions might affect our decisions, resulting in glitches in our decision-making skills.
Fantastic. I love that, and I can't wait to find out more. But wait a second, Ivan, glitches. I'm sure our listeners will be very eager and excited to know more about this. Can you tell us more?
Yes, but first a game for you, Roshan, and our audience. So I'll give you two scenarios, and you'll be given two options to choose from. So for our first scenario, option one, receive a guaranteed amount of $1,000. And option two, you have a 50% chance of winning $2,000 and a 50% chance of walking away with nothing. So remember your answer. Okay, so now for the second scenario. For our second scenario, we have two options as well. So option one, lose a guaranteed amount of $1,000.
Right.
Option two, you have a 50% chance of losing $2,000 and a 50% chance of losing nothing. So choose one.
Okay. For both scenarios, I choose option one, Ivan. I guess I'm a low risk kind of individual.
Yeah, so those are good choices for you because you understand your risk profile well and you chose accordingly. So intuitively, we would expect people who are risk averse to choose the first option for both scenarios, and
Right.
people who are risk seeking to choose the second option for both scenarios. However, studies have shown that that's not the case. So, for the positive scenario, there's a tendency for people to choose the guaranteed payout option of $1,000. And on the contrary, for the negative scenario, there's a tendency for the majority to pick the second option, taking a chance at the 50-50 probability, which exhibits risk seeking behavior. So, this is known as the certainty effect in prospect theory, where people tend to be risk averse when faced with the prospect of a guaranteed gain and to be risk seeking when faced with a sure loss. So, when we relate this to our investing, there's a tendency to realize our profits too early. And we also tend to hang on to losing positions rather than cutting our losses and moving on.
Okay, very interesting. Thanks for sharing, Ivan. All the points you made are interesting points of view to have. Now, do you think the audience can apply this knowledge to improve their investing techniques?
Yes, so relating this to our risk management for our investing, I think having a well thought out exit strategy for investments that is current with the market and economic condition is one way we can go about this. We can also look for investments with long term potential upside where we can be better off dollar cost averaging if there's a drop in prices. And for active traders, if you are holding on to a position that is unfavorable in the short to mid term, you could consider liquidating your investments and putting it elsewhere for greater growth potential.
Yeah, that's right. Brilliant perspectives to have regarding investing, and they're definitely pointers that the audience can use for their own gain. Is there anything else that you would like to share with us today, Ivan?
Yes, there's another topic that I'd like to touch on is how we can quantify our risk by calculating expected returns. So, next question for you and our audience. Imagine your boss comes up to you with a project and asks if you want to undertake it, right? So, for this project, there's a 55% chance that the project succeeds and you earn the company $10 million with a bonus up for grabs for yourself.
Wow.
So there's also a 45% chance that you might lose the company $10 million and your manager might not be so pleased. So would you choose to undertake this project?
No, I would not. I'd rather stay safe. I'm good.
Right. So we can actually quantify this project, and to quantify it, we can calculate the expected returns of undertaking this project. So we take the 55% multiplied by $10 million and we add it to 45% multiplied by a negative 10 million. So that should give us $1 million. So if we undertake many of such projects, we can expect the payoff to be $1 million per project in the long run. So this is a simple formula that can be expanded to more complex scenarios where we can have many outcomes instead of just two outcomes, and each outcome with their own assigned probabilities and payout. So it allows us to gauge how much the expected returns are from our investments. And if you are faced with multiple projects to choose from, we are inclined to choose the project with the highest expected return. Another takeaway is that we shouldn't consider our investment and personal decisions in isolation. So when viewed in isolation, the project mentioned might not seem as enticing. However, if we see the project as one of many that we will undertake in our investing or our personal lives, we should be better off undertaking projects that gives us a positive expected return consistently.
Absolutely. The project with the highest expected return is probably the one most people are inclined towards. And yes, don't consider your investments and personal decisions in isolation. Great tips, Ivan. Also, I do think that this is an effective way to estimate our expected returns, especially if we were to compare between multiple projects. So, do you think that there are any other factors that could have an impact on our investment decisions, Ivan?
Yes, so another factor that I'd like to share about is about emotional aspect. So particularly regret. I think regret is a powerful emotion that can affect our decision-making skills. So there's a theory on it. So it's called the regret theory. So it involves the fear and the anticipation of regret whenever we make a choice. So for example, the regret of missing out on investment that could cause us to invest in a bubble. So think of FOMO, right? The fear of missing out. Also regret from having made a bad decision previously. So I think regret can be a strong emotion and motivator in our decision making, which might prevent us from making optimal decisions. So it's important to make decisions soundly and analytically without getting our emotions involved.
Yeah, I'm sure many of us have made snap decisions without giving them much thought. This is a well-known flaw that we may not be aware of all the time. So before we end the session, Ivan, do you have other tips for our audience today?
Yes, I think it's important to understand that risk is highly correlated to our individual circumstances. So the amount of risk that we can afford to take depends on our unique situation. That's why I think it's important to speak to a qualified advisor and work out a proper plan that you're comfortable with financially. That's all for my sharing today. I hope you have found today's sharing useful for you. If you are looking to optimize your financial portfolio, please do not hesitate to contact me at bit.ly/ttp IVANNEOTH and my email as well, Ivan, IVANNEOTH @philip.com.sg. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you so much, Ivan. For those watching, do reach out to Ivan to find out more. Also, you can follow our Philip Wealth Advisory Facebook page at www.facebook.com/Philip Wealth Advisory or connect with Ivan on http://bit.ly/ttp Ivan Neo TH if you have further inquiries. Stay tuned for our next episode, which will be released soon. Also, tune in to the Daily Morning Note, Singapore's financial news updates hosted by me on Philip Capital's YouTube and Facebook page at 8:30 a.m. on weekdays. Till next time, take care.
You are listening to Let the Money Talk podcast, a podcast where our Phillip Capital's experts deconstruct world-class tactics, tools, and routines for managing your finances. I'm Rashawn, your host for Money Never Sleeps. Stay tuned for our experts' top tips.